So, guys, someone asked a question about Tinubus drug case and certificate forgery.
My question though is this: I've been following this David Hudeyin, this guy that is doing an amazing job. He's a journalist, and one of the things he's been talking about, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about him, is the issue about Tinubus alleged drug case in Chicago, and the school certificate that he presented to INEC, and the fact that it is alleged that the certificate that he presented is a fake one because it is absolutely different from the one that they got from the actual school that he said he went to. So my question though is, if it is determined that the certificate that he presented, because you could see that the font, the logo of the school, and the number of signatures on that certificate that he presented are totally different from what they got from the actual school. If it is determined that the certificate he presented are not real, are forged, how does that impact his candidacy to the presidency of Nigeria?
Okay, so much. Thank you so much, Felix. So I was just trying to call Inibehe. Apparently, he was actually waiting for me to add him on, and I didn't see that people had come on in the waiting room. Okay, yes, your question well noted and well taken. And while he comes in, I'll just brief him on it. The drug issue is actually part of the petition. What do they call it? Prayers? Is that what they call it? Oh yes. Let me.
The grounds.
Hello, you're fantastic. You can hear me now, right? You're muted, right?
Yeah, it is part of the grounds.
Yeah, the drug. So he's also acting. What about the issue of his certificates?
I think that has been raised in PDP's petition, but not in Peter Obi's petition.
Okay. So that's the question. Just before you came in, Felix Depot was asking that they are raising that the certificate that was Tinubu presented was not the same that with the one that came from the school, and also the drug issue.
Well, regarding the certificate thing, is it's very dicey given the position taken by the Supreme Court in the case of Atiku and Buhari in 2019. You know that what the Supreme Court said regarding the eligibility of Buhari in terms of his qualifications. Now, whether the courts will now give a different position to Buhari's Tinubu's educational qualification is left to be seen. What is important is that in the form that he filled with INEC, he had stated and indicated what he said is his qualification. The Constitution says the person must have been educated up to at least school certificate level or its equivalent, right? So if I go to INEC and fill a form and say I have a PhD in law, that is what I have said is my qualification. If that PhD in law is genuine, it may not matter that let me not use myself. It may not matter that the candidate who said they had a PhD in law actually did not have a primary school or secondary school. Again, this is part of the issues with our legal system, right? Because educational qualification is supposed to be like a pyramid. You are not supposed to jump to be a doctor, a PhD holder, if you have not had a bachelor degree.
Can I just come in, Ibehe, can I just come in here?
Yes, please.
Yeah, to say on this issue of educational qualification, I've always found it, first of all, it shouldn't even be a court issue. I think it should be a legislative issue. Because if you go into and correct me if I'm wrong, and that was why in 2014, when that whole issue, I kept saying, we need to focus on our law, because I think there's a part where it said, if INEC can ascertain that you can read and write, you don't even have to have gone to school or something like that. If they can ascertain you can read and write, then that allows you, that gives you, then you can run or something like that. Is that factual or that's not?
No, that cannot be correct.
Okay.
That will be setting fire on the Constitution.
Exactly. So what is the way that it is? But what about
the Constitution does not say you have to be,
or its equivalent?
No, the Constitution does not say you have to be literate. It says you must have been educated. Education is not a spiritual thing. It is not esoteric. It is not something you acquire in the dream. It is scientific. It is empirical. If you have been educated up to this level, there has to be something evidencing that fact. There has to be document, certification that speaks to that education up to that level. And how you do that is by producing your certificate. So let me just ask you, what part of, can you give me what part of the Constitution, what section is that talks about it? I just want to quickly look at it. The qualification for president. Yes. Check 130. Okay. 131. Yeah. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Check 130 and 131. Okay. Yeah. So I'm saying that you would have to basically meet those requirements, right? So you don't go to court and say, I am qualified because I can read and write. Tinubus is saying that he have you seen it? Yeah. What section is it? Section 131. Yeah, 131. 31, subsection D. Yeah. So you don't go to the court and say, I can read and write. That is not what the Supreme Court said. In Buhari's case, they actually accepted his controversial WAEC certificate. That is the truth of the matter. That was the basis of the judgment of the Supreme Court. In addition to what they said were his training in the military, which they said was equivalent to so and so. Look, I have my own reservations about whether Buhari had a certificate or not. For me, it is even an aberration. And like you said, this is also a legislative problem. I don't understand why in a 21st century Nigeria, somebody should be president in a well-literate country with secondary school certificate. It makes nonsense of graduates that have to go to university, get masters, get bachelor's degree, and still cannot find jobs. But somebody with primary school can become president. It doesn't make any sense. But then that is what our Constitution says. So for you to prove that Tinubus is not eligible, right? Because he has presented a document to INEC saying this is the basis of my qualification. Tinubus is not saying I went to primary school A or secondary school B. That is not his qualification. He's saying Chicago State University issued this degree in accounting to me. That is what he's saying. Right? So if you now go to the tribunal and say, oh, in year so and so, when he contested for governor, he had deposed to an affidavit saying this is his qualification. Well, that is in relation to that election. That is what his lawyers will tell you. But regarding the 2023 elections, the qualification that he has presented, because it is the candidate that says what qualifies him. It is not INEC that says this is what will make you eligible. It is you who is contesting that will bring out your criteria, your certificate to say this is what qualifies me. So if you are disputing his controversial Chicago State University degree, you will be basically making an allegation that that certificate is forged, which is a criminal allegation. And to prove that is a very tedious task. The courts have been so for me, I think it's a difficult thing to to establish. I'm not saying it's impossible, because you will have to go beyond the document itself. Will you be able to subpoena Chicago State University? I have seen some documents on social media where people have quoted the school. Some have said the Chicago have affirmed they have a certain Bola Tinubus or whatever in their record. Conflicting information here and there. So how will you now prove that that certificate is forged? Will the university come to Nigeria to testify? That is the problem. Because I keep telling people, and this is why people have a misconception about the legal profession. When you go to the law school or from the faculty of law to the law school and you are called to the bar and you appear in court, you don't necessarily speak to what is true, unfortunately. Because even as the lawyer, I have cases I'm handling now that I can stake my life and say this is what the truth is. But I don't go to court and say, my Lord, the truth of the matter is that. No. I say, my Lord, the facts before you. The facts before the courts. The evidence before the court. That is what people capitalize on. And that is why even when sometimes people are on the side of the truth, they still lose cases because they may not have the evidence to substantiate that. That might be the problem with Tinubus' controversial educational qualification. Regarding the drugs issue, I did explain. If you could just read that that 134, please read that 134 D and E again.
Okay, 134.
134. Read that 134.
Says a candidate for an election to the office of president shall be deemed to have been duly elected where there being only 2 candidates for the election. Is that the part you want?
No.
Okay, you want 131 then?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
A person shall be qualified for election to the office of the president.
No. Don't just hold on. I'll give you the section I'm looking for. Now,
okay.
Regarding the issue of drugs, right? I explained the other time that it is a delicate matter. Please check 135, the marginal notes, the verified notes there. I'm looking for disqualification.
Okay, 135, marginal notes.
There are marginal notes that explains what the sections are about by the margin.
So tenure of office of president, that's 135.
No.
Okay, you are looking for disqualification.
No.
Qualification for election as president.
Yes.
Okay, no, I think it's 137.
Yeah, 137. God bless you. 137. 137.
That's what they call it, marginal notes. Okay, I've learned something.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you want me to read?
Read D and E.
Okay, they say subsection 1 says a person shall not be qualified for election to the office of the president if D says he is under sentence, he's under a sentence of death imposed by any competent court of law or tribunal in Nigeria, or a sentence of imprisonment or fine for any offense involving dishonesty or fraud by whatever name called, or for any other offense imposed on him by any court or tribunal or substituted by a competent authority for any other sentence imposed on him by such a court or tribunal. Or then E says, within a period of less than 10 years before the date of the election to the office of president, he has been convicted and sentenced for an offense involving dishonesty, or he has been found guilty of the contravention of the code of conduct. Or, you want me to go ahead?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Now, that 137 sub 4 is the basis for the drug case. Because 137E has certain qualifications, including a limitation period that will not favor any action that is premised on it. One of which is that the 10-year period, the action or the complaint must be within 10 years of the conviction or sentence or fine as it relates to the code of conduct. Whereas 137D appears not to have a time limit.
Yeah.
Now, if the Court of Appeal favors that opinion, because look, Tinubu cannot, I made this point. I have been very careful in the way I address issues. I try to be very objective. One of the facts that Tinubu cannot dispute, can never dispute, is that he forfeited monies to the US government on account of his implication, his involvement in the drugs matter that was investigated. Now, he is not going to challenge that fact. What is going to challenge is the interpretation given to that fact, and two, the consequence of that interpretation. What I mean is that when Tinubu, look, these things, I can predict these things. When Tinubu filed his response, his reply, one, they will try to drag, I suspect his lawyers will try to link 137D and 137E regarding the 10-year period. They will try to bring it to marry those provisions. I'm not sure that is going to be accepted. I'm not sure that is going to fly. I'm not sure that the courts will accept that argument. But what I know is that when that argument is made, he is going to say that despite this forfeiture, it does not affect his qualification, because he's going to argue that, one, that was not a conviction. Again, whether the court will accept that argument is a different thing entirely. I'm just preempting what I believe will be their response. But however, I want to see how our courts and our judiciary will approach that issue. So for now, because it is an area that a provision that strictly has not been really tested very much, especially in relation to Tinubu's, the facts in Tinubu's case, I think we just have to await, let's even see what they are going to say, what their answer is going to be in reaction to that ground of the petition.
So guys, at the moment, all eyes are on the judiciary. The judiciary will be the one to decide on this case, as in the final say on all this matter is going to depend on the outcome of the hearing from the election tribunal. So we are going to watch out to see whatever the tribunal will decide, and whatever they decide is what we are going to take. So guys, as law-abiding citizens, we are going to rest all this case and wait for the tribunal to respond to them, and we are going to, stand by what the tribunal says. We are just hoping that, the judges are going to do justice to all this case, as in we are hoping that our judiciary is going to stand for the Nigerian people. They are not going to be partisan in this case. They will take a neutral ground so that Nigeria will move forward. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you.